Let your life lightly dance on the edges of time like dew on the tip of a leaf. 19th century Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore. In the hour of adversity, be not without hope, for crystal rain falls from black clouds. 12th century Persian poet Nizami Ganjavi. What lies behind you and what lies before you are tiny compared to what lies within you. 19th century Unitarian Waldo Emerson. All of these authors and poets and teachers, as well as the ones you read in our slideshow, played a significant role in my recovery and in the spiritual light that I needed after my heart attack. During my open heart surgery, I had been, of course, under heavy sedation. The doctor told me later that it frequently has two side effects. It can cause nightmares. Fortunately, it also tends to cause amnesia. He told me this the next day as I was describing to him the nightmare I was having when my breathing tube was removed and I could not breathe. And I remembered. I was trapped in the bottom of a giant bird nest. This thing down my throat was one of those big sticks. All of these inchoate figures above me were saying, relax, take deep, slow breaths. Meanwhile, I was gasping for air and pleading, I can't breathe. That part, of course, was real. It's a scary thing. Air is precious. Breathing is life. What we call I, said Zen Master Shunryu Suzuki, is just a swinging door which moves when we inhale and when we exhale. As I lay dying in my yard on the eve of March 14, covered in mud, hugging my chest in a blind attempt to squeeze away the growing darkness, the swinging door of myself felt as if it were swinging shut. I remember my first thought as I lay there. If this is going to kill me, go ahead and kill me now. I can't take any more. I'm tired and I'm ready to go. I lay there, exhausted, short of breath, and sapped of my strength by a left arm, which for more than a week felt like I was being electrocuted 24 hours a day. I had just invested 4 hours trying in vain to extricate my old Toyota pickup truck from the soggy hole where it had been mired for days on the back of the property, in the same stubborn grip that now seemed determined to pin me to the ground. I had felt this pain before. For 20 years or so, I have suffered nerve damage in my left arm. The kind you feel when you smack your funny bone real hard, only mine never goes away. So I've learned to live with it. But in March this year, the pain increased a lot. I became too weak and sore even to throw my customary midnight dart games in my front yard. Assuming that I was experiencing a progression of the same old problem, I toughed it out like I always do and kept on grinding. Keep your face to the sunshine, Helen Keller said, and you cannot see a shadow. But the shadow was there, and I knew it inside. I had this feeling that I couldn't shake, and I was tired all the time. Just a dark cloud over me. So on Monday evening, when it finally laid me down, the notion came that I was actually having a heart attack. I knew it, but didn't want to believe it. Shock, I guess. And so the second thought I had that night was this: I need a shower. I am totally covered in mud. I can't get in anybody's car like this. What I'll do, I'll clean up, then I'll call my buddy Eric. He was in the mud with me that day, working on the truck. I'll ask Eric to drive me to my brother's house, and John can take me to the ER, if I really need to go. It took about an hour, but I managed finally to get up and to bathe myself. As I stood in my bedroom to dress, another attack of exhaustion arrived. I tucked my arm into my chest again and curled up on the bed to rest. The next I knew, it was 11 a.m. Tuesday. I did not die. German proverb, when you think everything is hopeless, a little ray of light comes from somewhere. I'm better than I thought, I told myself. I bet I didn't have a heart attack. Let's see how it goes before I do anything rash. It did not go well. The harder we try to catch hold of the moment, said the Zen man Alan Watts, the more elusive it becomes. Finally, on Thursday, I drove myself to an emergency room. I think I had a heart attack 3 days ago, I said. And this is where the spiritual saga really began. Emerson wrote, "When it is dark enough, you can see the stars." My darkest days were Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was surgery and that breathless recovery day. On Monday morning, I wrote, "I have forgotten what it feels like not to hurt." But I had the best care I could hope for. Nurses, technicians, doctors, and aides. They gave me a pillow. This pillow. And they said it would become my best friend. And it did. I tell people who want to know what recovery from open heart surgery is like to try this. Clutch a pillow to your chest, then conduct your daily activities without using your arms. Just rising from bed is a tough one. I was instructed in the golden rules. No pushing a door, for example. No pulling yourself out of a chair. No arms overhead. No lifting more than 5 pounds for 8 weeks. Everyone knew the rules, and everyone tested me on them. Late one night, a cheery, delightful woman from the cleaning crew came into my room, smiling and mopping. "You know what the rules are, don't you?" She then proceeded to quote them for me. My other present was this: incentive spirometer. because everything was about breathing. Clutch my pillow and cough aggressively. Physical therapy, deep breathing exercises. Incentive spirometer, 10 times an hour. Work the lungs, prevent pneumonia, heal the chest. But the most surprising source of inspiration and healing for me was a great big TV screen right in front of my bed. For the first few days, it served as a clock. The screen was on, though not the channels, and it provided me with ambient light for nighttime, and a clock in the upper right-hand corner kept me oriented. I would lie for sleepless hours looking at the menu on the screen, looking past it, not really focusing on anything. But then my eye caught a selection on the menu. Wellness videos or something like that, it said. It turned out to be created especially for hospitals, called MedCalm Network. Described as a, quote, wellness relaxation video provider, end quote. There were titles such as nature, relaxation, calming. I chose one called inspiration, with a similar design as the one that we created for you today. I was transfixed. I watched it over and over and over again. It was 54 minutes long. Nature scenes with soothing music and reflections from these spirit-filled people, many of whom have been my mentors, guides, and gurus all my life. Meister Eckhart, Helen Keller, Rosa Parks, Emerson. All of my sermon and video quotes today are from that MedCalm program. Dale Carnegie. Most of us have far more courage than we ever dreamed we possessed. I needed that. Albert Camus. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lies an invincible summer. Yes. People often think they don't know what to say or do for others in times of trial. But Mother Teresa said, we shall never know all the good that a simple smile can do. Every visit lifted me from family and friends, especially my two brothers, John and Tim, and the almost daily visits from Bob, Paul and Keith driving up from St. Augustine, David Dean, others from my Buckman Bridge past. Every card, text, phone message reminded me that I was not alone. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Aesop. There was another quote on that list. I liked it, but I couldn't really see how it fit in. It's from Mark Twain. The human race has one really effective weapon, and that is laughter. One thing I wasn't doing much. And then about 2 weeks ago, I saw a rerun of The Frasier Show. Do you know it? About two finicky and snooty psychiatrist brothers, Nick and Niles Frasier. Niles and Frasier Crane. In this episode, Niles has a heart attack. Afterward, he flaunts his newfound insight everywhere. Well, if you had a near-death experience, as I have, you would be as wise as I am. Well, damn, there goes my sermon. I was all set to share my wisdom from the mountaintop. Donovan sang a song in 1972. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. It's actually a message from a Zen master. It means that our understanding of life changes constantly with every new experience or bit of information. You may have heard it's easy to be holy on a mountaintop. I'm here to tell you that it isn't. It's cold and windy and lonely and hard to breathe. A hospital room is a place where you're never alone and you never sleep and people are constantly picking on you. But still there is a lot of time for self-reflection and self-pity and fear and confusion and sadness. A.J. Cronin, my favorite quote from the video. Worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only saps today of its strength. It's a fantastic sentiment and a noble truth. Don't worry, be happy. But I find I'm human and I'm weak. And as tough as I am, sometimes I do worry. Sometimes a mountain is a mountain. I thought I was going to come out of this like a TV sitcom. You'll be 100% better than before. My latest EKG 2 weeks ago shows I have something called right bundle branch block. It means the right side of my heart is not getting the electrical impulses it should. It's going off cockeyed, like a right-wing terrorist with fake news. My cardiologist said, "Don't worry, your left side is working fine." Go left, that's what I always say. My brother calls me every day to ask how I am doing. He reminds me lovingly that nothing has really changed from the day before I got that news. He's right. Nothing has changed except my point of view. This is what I have learned. This is my spiritual insight. I've only lost one thing through all of this. It's something I never really had. It's called someday. Someday I'll visit Australia. Someday I'll learn a language, sail the South Pacific, clean up all my clutter. Joseph Campbell said, "We must let go of the life we have planned to accept the one that is waiting for us." We all know this. It's true of everyone. It's just sometimes the air is clearer when you've been up on that mountain. Amen. Blessed be.